Hello and welcome to the fourth bit of the tutorial stream Chaoswulff and I did some time ago. In this part we're going to talk about the first 7 ships you might encounter while playing the game. So from your starting ship up to, well, the first few ships. Enjoy! The next topic on the on my list here is ship types. So we're going...
certainly. I'll be waiting for this one. I like this one.
Well, of course, you start with the Sidewinder.
Yep, as does every command. You always start with a Sidewinder. Depends whether or not you start with a Horizons account or not. If you do have Horizons, then you'll start with a Sidewinder, which automatically has a SRV bay, or a planetary vehicle hangar.
Here, I'll just walk around the ship outside. If you just started, you will know this ship. It looks small. One of my friends who just started playing this game, he said he basically apped me and said, you know, I just purchased the game, but where do I get the other ships? Because I don't want to stick to this ship. I want another ship as well. I don't want to fly around in the basic ship. I'm like, it's not World of Tanks. It's not World of Warships. It's not Star Citizen. You don't have to pay real cash for the other ships. Every single pilot starts in this ship. Whether you like it or not, this is the ship you're going to be stuck in for at least an hour.
Yep, now within an hour you can quite happily get yourself out into an Eagle, into a Viper, into an Adder, but if you're really good, potentially even a Cobra.
And maybe a little lucky as well, the missions that get spawned in your location.
Yeah, all the missions are randomly generated, so every playthrough of the game is going to be completely different. And I say every playthrough because some commanders do like to wipe their save and start again. Personally, I don't do this. I kind of have got myself 3 accounts in the game. 2 for different series on my channel and my main account. But that's not exactly recommended for the average player. Oh yes, and the hauler as well, says I'm jealous, Dave.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, we want to go and cover what ships we want to go and upgrade to for what different roles we want to go and have in the game.
So here we have stored ships. Which one should we start with? I've got the hauler, Adder.
Well, I think we should go from how we want to play the game. Let's start off with, like, if we want to go as a trader. The least scary of all the professions. What would we want to go and have if we are a trader in the game?
That would probably be the hauler. And as you can see, the cockpit is totally different from the Sidewinder. It's a little more spacious, though if you compare it to other ships later in the game, this is really a cramped cockpit. But if you compare it to Sidewinder, it's spacious. Especially the look outside, it's a lot nicer. Yeah,
the hauler itself is pretty much the what's the one I'm looking for? The Space Ford Transit van. That's pretty much what the hauler is. It's not a freighter. It's not a thing. It's just it gets a good amount of stuff from A to B.
Yeah, and this is basically it's just a box with a cockpit in front of it and some engines glued to the back.
Yeah, it's a cargo bay with some engine in the cockpit, and that's pretty much all it is.
As you can see here, it's pretty well. It doesn't have nice lines or anything like that. Though I do like the hauler. It is actually, if you wanted to go into exploring, this is actually the first ship you could do some decent exploring in, because you can get this.
I'm actually doing exactly that, and Commander Mal Reynolds.
So the hauler. You know what you should do if you get this ship is basically get the weapons off as soon as possible, because it'll help you a lot. And weapons, well, if you're attacked in this ship, just get away, fly away. Archangel, thanks for the follow.
Too much. No, the hauler is pretty much just a one-trick pony. It's from getting cargo from A to B. Well, technically it's a two-trick pony because you can go exploring in it, although you can be doing it to such a very limited capacity.
Yep.
There is another ship that you can use to roughly a similar level as the hauler for trading, but it's also going to have a little bit more of a defensive capability, because this ship's only got one hardpoint or one weapon mount, and that is a small weapon mount, so you're not going to be fighting back with this ship. Can use it as a very, very small miner, but yes, as Archangel does say, the adder as well, which is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep. This was the ship that, you know, when I looked at the game at the start, I got into the Sidewinder. Next ship was a hauler, and the first ship I was really aiming for, because this is the first multi-role ship. You could do several things in this ship. Of course, it's still best not to take it into a combat zone and do some serious combat with it, but you could do quite a lot with this ship. So it was the first ship that I looked at and I thought, this is the ship I need to get. This is going to change my gameplay a lot.
Yeah, this ship itself, it's also one of the first multi-crew ships, because if you look over to the left, you can see that there is actually a second seat in there. There's a co-pilot seat.
I'm actually trying to get the view from the outside to the two different seats. It doesn't work.
Ship itself, as he says, as we've said, this ship is the first of the multi-role ships. You can use this for hauling freight, and you can do it to roughly the same level as the hauler. But this ship actually has 3 hard points, or 3 weapon mounts, 2 small underneath and 1 medium on top. So it does give you a good sting in the tail if somebody tries to steal your cargo. But not only this, you can also use this for exploration. You can use it for piracy as well, which I did do in my Zero to Hero series back in the early days of Season 2 or 3, I think it was. And it just gives you so many more things you can do. You can upgrade the shields on it. You can go and almost take it full combat. But you're never going to fully upgrade this ship, because by the time you have the money to do that, you'll have more than enough to go and upgrade to a dedicated combat ship if you want to do that. But one of the things you really need to keep in mind is when to go and upgrade your ship and what ship will be best for your particular chosen profession.
Yeah,
because if you're going for hauling, sorry, carry on.
No, you just you were about to say the same thing as I did, so go right ahead.
If you're going for haulage, you're always going to want to go and upgrade your ship to the next best in the hauling line. But you're going to have to know when to do that. And the when to do that is when you've got enough to upgrade your ship, fill it full of cargo racks. They'll be able to afford your rebuy and a full cargo bay of cargo. Until you can do that, then there is no point upgrading to the next ship.
Exactly, and a lot of people just start playing this game, as it did I as well when I first started playing, and you look at the Sidewinder and you think, I need to get rid of this ship as soon as possible. Well, no, actually you don't. It is a good thing to upgrade and get another ship soon, but you don't have to rush it. The Sidewinder is actually really capable to do a lot of fun things in. And you can earn a lot of money in the Sidewinder, and then, you know, when it is fully upgraded, and as Chaoswulff said as well, when you do have some spare money, so not everything is invested into your ship, that's the moment that you could upgrade to the next one, and then either a hauler, or if you take the other option, maybe an eagle.
You could go for combat. Yes, definitely. I think that now is time to go and have a look at the Eagle, because I do know that Insomnia Dev is desperate to have a look at the Eagle.
Yeah.
Now, the Eagle itself is the very first combat-focused ship in the game.
And if you look at the cockpit, it is a little more cramped, but you have a very good view around, because, you know, it's a fighter, so you should be able to look around you and see what's happening.
Aye, certainly. It's extremely maneuverable, but it's not when it's stock or not fully upgraded. It's not that fast, but it is it's able to dodge. It's very agile. It's going to be able to fly around and avoid fire. It's going to be able to go and stay in the blind zone, the blind spot of a lot of ships as well.
I think this is the most maneuverable ship in the game, right?
It is, actually, yes. It is the only ship in the game which has a 10 out of 10 maneuverability rating.
So, and this is the ship that I played a lot of games in with my son, because he wasn't really into hauling stuff back and forth. You know, he did do it for some time because, you know, he needed the credits. But as soon as he could get into this and could go out into res zones with me, and we were both flying an Eagle, that was when he was really having fun. So, and of course, there's different kinds of players, and there's different stages of the game as well, in which you would maybe, you know, want to go out into a fight. And this is really the first ship, and even now with an Anaconda and a net worth of 250 million or something like that, I still like the Eagle, and I still like to fly this because it is really maneuverable.
It is. It's a very unique ship in the game, especially because it's extremely agile. You can always sit right up the tailpipe of any other ship in the game, bar some of the other smaller fighters. But fly this round the tailpipe of an Anaconda, that ship's never going to get a lock on you, and you can just punish it from behind.
Yep.
But its armor is paltry. Its armor is made out of the galaxy's finest tinfoil. So the second your shields go down in this ship, you want to get the hell out of Dodge.
But of course, as we all know, tinfoil does help, and it does cover you and protect you against alien mind control. So
it does.
You'll be saving this.
Oh, definitely. The one way we can really describe the armor in the Eagle is it's only there to stop you falling out into space.
Yep. But I do like this. You know, every single ship is named after a.
It's either most of them are either named after snakes or birds.
Yep. This one, of course, isn't. But it is the only ship that I think that has a really cool animal-like nose.
Oh, definitely. It's a very nice looking ship, especially if you look at it from the plan view, so from up above. It's a very appealing looking ship.
Yeah, it has something Romulan or Klingon, if you are into Star Trek, about it.
I'll take your word for that, because I'm more of a Star Wars guy.
Yeah. I would say Klingon, but the Romulans have a ship that is exactly like this.
Alright.
Anyway.
Well, this is only the first of the dedicated combat ships. The next one is actually the Viper Mark III.
Which I'm going to get now.
Yeah,
no, not the Sidewinder.
The Viper Mark III was actually my very first absolute favourite ship in this game. I think she is a very, very sexy ship.
So, and I've got a Viper Mark IV here and not a Viper Mark III. Luckily it's for sale here, so I'll just buy one. Come on. Here I am, noobing out. Here we go. Ah, the Viper. Such great memories, says Javi. Yeah. Viper. You know, when I was playing this game with my son, we were flying around in Eagles. We got a lot of bounties. And then upgraded to Vipers as soon as we could. Then I upgraded to a Viper Mark IV and he upgraded to a Mark III. And that's about the time he stopped playing the game.
Because mechanically speaking, the Viper is very, very different to the Eagle. Whereas the Eagle's not exactly the fastest ship, but it's extremely agile, the Viper has one of, if not the highest cruise speeds in the game. So just basically your standard forward thrust speed, not counting boost. But it is actually not the most maneuverable. So this is technically what could be described as a boom and zoom ship. It's extremely fast, not the most maneuverable, but you're always going to be able to get out of a bad situation. But not only this, it's going to have a lot more firepower than the Eagle, because whereas the Eagle only has 3 small hard points, unless it's the Imperial Eagle where it's got 3 small and 1 medium, this has 2 small and 2 medium. So this ship does really pack a punch. And I just love the way this ship looks. It's a very sleek, sexy ship.
I totally agree. And I like this as well. The just for detail, the front landing strut here has the just a staircase to lead into the ship. That's just great. I like that when a ship has that. But that's just a detail. It's not really important, but I like it. And this really is one of the first ships that you can actually take a beating as well. You shouldn't stay out to take the beating, because I don't think it's strong enough for that. But especially if you're in a group of, let's say, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 people just all flying around in a rest zone and doing some combat, doing some bounty hunting, it's not fatal right away if you get hit once or twice, which it might be in an Eagle, but not in this ship, because it is a little more sturdy and a little more durable than the Eagle, of course.
Yeah, this ship is a very what's termed as a shield tank. The shields on this ship are very strong in relation to the hull mass itself. The Cobra will have a larger class of shield, but the overall shield strength is not going to be anywhere near as good as this one. But like I said, this is a dedicated combat ship, whereas the Cobra is a multi-role ship.
Yep. And
this ship, it's manoeuvrable enough to still stay up the tailpipe of an Anaconda, but it's going to make you work that little bit harder for it.
One of the best of the Econo jousting ships, says Archangel.
Yeah, it's definitely a jousting ship.
Yeah, the Viper kits make this a pretty ship. I already think this is a pretty ship, and I don't have the kits for this, so you probably know more about that.
Yes, the kit makes this ship, it takes it to the whole nother level, especially if you have a certain setup. The only issue is one of the spoilers. If you have the utility mounts mounted to the ship, the spoiler will clip through them, but it's just a minor annoyance. Some people find it more annoying than others, but I really love this ship.
Me too.
So that's it for the dedicated combat ships at the moment, unless we want to go and have a look at the Cobra the Viper Mark IV even, which is the upgrade version of this ship.
I do have it in my shipyard here, so we could
have a quick look at that one. So we can just go and compare and see what different type of ship that actually is. Because the Cobra, I keep saying the Cobra, but the Viper Mark III and the Viper Mark IV, they're basically the same chassis but modified slightly. And the Viper Mark IV is just a slightly heavier version. Well, I say slightly, it's actually quite a bit heavier than the Mark III.
As you can see, the cockpit is exactly the same. It does look like, when you're looking outside, it looks a little different. But the internal
is the same, it's just slightly darker, I believe.
Yeah, but internally it's exactly the same. Okay, here Soon Pure Red asks or says that I should ask you what a Peagle is, and that you should know.
Yes, it's his pink eagle. It's painted pink with pink lasers. That's his Peagle. He's very proud of it.
Yeah, I see. Oh, by the way, this is the way the Viper Mark IV looks. And it just looks like, this is the Viper. I'm just having my mouse here. That's the Viper, and then they've bolted something extra on the sides. If you don't look carefully.
It's a lot chunkier of a ship. It's got a lot more internal space. You can fit a lot stronger shields to it. And it's even got the ability to have a stronger power plant, so you can fit more. You can fit more power-hungry modules in the ship. What you pay for this is it's slower than the Viper Mark III, whereas the Viper Mark III was one of the fastest ships in the game before Engineers. This ship is still a combat ship. It's more of a face-tanking brute of a ship. It cannot go and maneuver around things too much.
Yeah, the maneuverability is a lot. maneuverability is a lot less than the Mark III as well.
Yeah,
But I did like this one.
Yes, I like this one as well. It really depends on your play style. If you like to go and face tank a lot more, this ship is more for you. But if you like to dodge and basically float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, then the Mark III is more for you. Now, these are the dedicated combat ships, and you can tell just by looking at them that these are dedicated for combat because they are just so sleek and just made to kill things.
And by the way, the Viper Mark III and Mark IV are both really good ships to take if you want to go into pirating as well, because they do have some cargo space, especially the Mark IV. There's quite a lot of cargo space if you outfit it correctly, so you could take this into a piracy mission. Of course, you could still take an Eagle out, but then it would be one ship, and if he drops a lot of cargo, you won't even be able to get all the cargo in.
Yeah, no, the Eagle and the Viper Mark III are kind of one-trick ponies. You can use them for something else, but it's going to be very, very forced. The Viper Mark III is still a combat ship, but it's leaning more towards the multi-role purpose, the multi-purpose ship. But that's a good segue into multi-purpose ships.
Yep, and the first one we've already covered because that's the Adder, and the second one is this one, that's the Cobra, which is probably the most famous ship in the game.
Yes, the Cobra is pretty much the poster child of the Elite series.
And especially for lore, it's probably the most famous ship, because nowadays, if you try to Google it, Elite Dangerous, the Anaconda, the Corvette, the Cutter, the Beluga, they will all be higher up than the Cobra. But if you look into the history of this game and into the lore, to the stories, the Cobra has had such a big influence on the game. It's just a lot bigger than all the other ships.
And as you can see as well, there is a second seat in this ship, so this is again another multi-crew ship. But this ship is going to be able to take advantage of the next update coming in, which is 2.3, which is multi-crew.
So then 2.3, it might be that in our second or maybe third episode of our tutorial stream, we might be sitting next to each other. So you might actually see Chaoswulff sitting there.
Yeah, and one of the things I'm really looking forward to for that one is the Commander Creator, so I can finally put a face to digital Commander Chaoswulff.
Yep. So let's go into
have a look on the outside of this
external view. Yes. It's blue.
Aye, that it is. Now, bearing in mind, I'm kind of watching this on the stream with everybody else, so I have a little bit of a delay on what I am seeing.
This basically has the same weapon loadout as the Viper, so it's got two small.
All the Vipers and all the Cobras have the same weapon loadouts, although their orientations are switched. Whereas the Vipers have the medium hard points underneath the hull, and the smalls on top. It's the opposite way round on the Cobras. They have the mediums on top and the smalls on bottom.
Yeah, and
Except
I like
the Cobra Mark IV. The Cobra Mark IV is the exception to this rule.
Yep. I like to outfit this one with medium multi-cannons and small lasers most of the time.
That's exactly how I do this. But I've got to say that I agree with Overdose 42 here, that I've never really fallen in love with the look of the Cobra. It's just, I don't know what it is. I've always preferred the sleek, deadly look of the Vipers.
Me too. I don't really like this ship, but then again, most of the time you spend in the cockpit, and you don't have to look to the ship on the outside.
No. But as we've said, this is a multi-role ship, so it pretty much does everything. You can do trade in this. It's one of the best early piracy ships. You can do exploring in this one, and you can do combat. You are not going to be as proficient in it as you would be if you went for, let's say, a Viper at around about this price range.
But then again, you don't have to constantly switch in and out of ships and lose your 10%, because that's still a thing in the game, right? That if you sell your ship and modules, you get a 10%.
Yeah, you do get a
reduction in what you pay.
10% on your things, yes.
So
but every time you're swapping ships, you will be losing 10% of their total value. But early on in the game, it's not that noticeable. Later in the game, when you're selling modules that are, let's say, over 100 million credits for one module, then you start noticing the pinch a little bit more.
But still, you don't. If you like to do a lot of different things in the game, so you like to go into rest zones and hunt for bounties. You like to do some delivery missions. You like to do some exploring and stuff like that, and you don't want to continuously switch ships. Maybe just tinker with the outfitting of the ship a little bit. Then the Cobra is probably a really good choice because it can do all those roles. It doesn't really excel in the combat role, but it can do it.
It's what they call the jack of all trades, master of none. I've got to say thank you very much there, Foxface Ronin, and I'm glad that you enjoy my content. But yeah, the Cobras themselves, the Cobra Mark III at least, is the very first quintessential multi-role ship. It can do everything, just not amazingly well. Because if you set this up for exploration, you can get it up to around about 25 light years worth of jump range pre-engineers. But post-engineers, you can get it up to around about 35 maybe light years worth of jump range. So you can do quite a lot with it. And with the engineers, you can mod any ship to do anything you want, so the general roles for ships start to get a little bit more blurry after that. But we're not focusing on engineers today. We're going to do that on another stream, because that's a whole new slimy kettle of fish.
Well, I think we've covered ship types now. We should probably be looking into...
The only one that we haven't covered really at the moment is the Cobra Mark IV, but I'm not sure if you've got one in station.
Well, the Cobra Mark IV, isn't that the one that's not available for everyone?
Yes, that's not available for everyone. That's only available if you ordered or pre-ordered Horizons before a certain point. But if you do have access to that ship, it's not a multi-role ship. That ship kind of focuses more towards trade, mining, and passenger missions. It's not a combat ship at all. It has more hard points, it has more weapons than the standard Cobra, but it just lacks the ability to use them. Maneuverability is through the floor, and I've kind of coined the phrase that particular ship is the biggest turd in the game.
Yeah, well, if you're flying the Cobra Mark III around and you think this is a great ship, I'm going to get the better version, the Mark IV. No, it's not the better version. It's different. It looks the same, just like the Viper Mark IV and the Viper Mark III look the same. The Cobra Mark IV is a bigger version of the Mark III, but it's not the same ship. Not by a long shot. No, I do have it on my own account, but I'm unable to get it here. Account is probably not old enough. Oh, and there's some people asking here, don't forget the Vulture as a combat ship, and a pretty good one at best. And someone else reacted to that. The Vulture is not a ship you'll get into very fast. That's why we're not covering it as well. Yeah. We'll be covering later game ships in later episodes of the tutorial stream. So this is probably all the ships we're going to get into. This is we've covered 7 now, I think. And that's,
I do believe so. We've gone from the Sidewinder to the Cobra, so I think we've covered enough for this particular episode.
Yeah, and Foxface Ronin says Asp Explorer as combat. Well, you can really outfit an Asp Explorer for combat as well, but we're not going to focus on that ship as well because it's not a ship you could get into really quickly.
Yeah, the Asp Explorer is pretty much just a larger version of the Cobra Mark III. It can do everything, but not. It specializes more in jump range and exploration than anything else. Everything else, it kind of does a little bit more mediocrely. It can trade as well because it has a good amount of internals. But again, we're going to cover that in more detail later on.
Well, that was it. Thanks for watching again. I hope to see you next episode, which will be on time. This one was a few days late, and well, we're planning on the second episode soon. So please keep an eye on my channel and Chaoswulff's channel. Also the Facebook groups. We'll be announcing the next episodes as soon as we actually planned it. If you like what you've seen, let us know by commenting, liking or subscribing. And if you want us to cover something specific on the next episode, please let us know in the comments as well. Thanks for watching, see you later.